Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 27th of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers. Chartingthemarkets.substack.com is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, we got my retests of the RTH highs, and we are, well, this is something I was warning about last week. If we didn't start seeing any serious damage to the downside last week, then of course we had three very bullish days this holiday week, which were Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We are currently on Wednesday. We are retesting the highs at the moment. We are making significant new highs on NQ. Obviously, this potential level top setup here is not aging well, so we are watching to see how far these can get to the upside. I'm still thinking not particularly far, but obviously we're being buffeted by peace news. There is a lot of stuff happening there. We've got on Strait of Hormuz. I think we've just had a bit more news, which is pushing oils down and other things up. So we're back up to 46% chance of the Strait of Hormuz returning to the normal by the end of June. But we're seeing a lot of contradictory news coming out. This is buffeting the market, but overall, this has taken over up to new highs. I'm still looking around for a high here, and I'm still looking around for a low on oil. I think oil's really getting down into fairly strong buy territory, but we don't have a buy signal set up on the daily chart, which I'm thinking we might yet get. So here we are. We had a possible 60-minute sell signal bring here on NQ. We've lost that divergence. RTY, 60-minute sell signal fixed. If we go much higher, that may fail. YM actually made the sell signal target yesterday. And is looking a bit weaker than the others, having sort of led the way up. DAX, we have still wondering about a retest of the all-time high. I don't think we saw one of those yesterday. ESTX, possible topping action. Nikkei, a weak 6-minute sell signal is fixed, and is now actually a full 6-minute sell signal. So hang on, I'll just change that. I'm wondering about that, but I'm not seeing an obvious topping setup right here, and I'm a bit concerned about the bullish tape running through tomorrow. We shall see, and obviously about the news coming out. All right, great. Let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts, and looking at SPX. SPX, we are now testing again the main trendline resistance that I'd drawn in, and that is here. So watching for this. Obviously there is always the chance if you do an bearish overthrow, so that isn't necessarily going to hold as resistance. We do now have a possible RSI 14 sell signal bring. Obviously we've already got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. Exactly the same on ES. So we shall see. Looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence. The RSI 14 sell signal had reached the possible near miss target. The weak RSI 5 sell signal failed. Not altogether surprising, and the sell signals that I was suggesting might fail yesterday morning on the 15-minute charts have failed as well. We still have a pretty nice looking double top setup on SPX. All right, looking at the Qs. Qs, we are working our way towards trendline resistance here, but haven't quite made it yet. Although the main thing I'm watching here really is this NDX, where we are going slightly through resistance. Hey, Doug. No current divergence here on the weekly chart. On the daily chart, we know about a possible RSI 14 sell signal bring, and we've already got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed. Looking at the hourly chart, a little bit of negative divergence that we may well lose today, and obviously the RSI 14 sell signal I was suggesting might fail yesterday morning, failed. All right, looking at Dia, we have gone higher here. Looking at the bigger picture, we've got a little more space maybe till we reach the trendline resistance, but we've already overshot that resistance slightly once. We've got a pretty nice looking overall double top here, but in the short term, we don't really have a topping pattern here yet. On the hourly chart, no current divergence. On the 15-minute chart, this RSI 14 sell signal actually survived, and we haven't quite reached target on that, on the possible near miss target on that yet. All right, let's have a look at IWM. All right, bear with me a moment. All right, looking at IWM, we have gone a little higher. We've got a potential nice looking double top here. We've got no divergence on the hourly chart, but we could start setting some up. On the 15-minute chart, we had an RSI 14 sell signal as well, and that failed as well. This is now a nice looking potential double top, but obviously as that goes higher, that will weaken. In terms of DAX, we're pretty close to a retest of the all-time high, and I'd quite like to see that at this point, but we haven't quite made it yet. We may make that in the next couple of days. Nikkei has gone higher and has gone through the rather nice-looking trend line here. This could be a bearish overthrow. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX. Now, DX, we're still waiting for some, actually, as oil's been going down, I was kind of expecting dollar to go down. It's not really been doing that so far. This is looking an awful lot like a bullish consolidation. In terms of the other currencies, not seeing an awful lot on Euro USD. Not seeing a lot in GBP USD. We are making limited progress towards the double bottom target on USD JPY at a retest of this high here at about the 160.70 area. So USD CAD is making steady progress and is almost at the possible IHS target. Australian dollar, possible head and shoulders. NZ, possible head and shoulders. All right. ZB got another leg higher here, which messed up my nice looking flag on ZN. I'm still leaning towards this just being a rally before the next move down. We shall see on ZN. We broke over my nice looking resistance here. I do not have a replacement trend line yet, I don't think. Nope, I don't. So waiting to see, but we are testing the monthly pivot, and that's also significant resistance at ZB, although that is obviously only the monthly pivot for this week. All right, looking at oil, we've seen more downside today. This is a potential level bottom here. We're not setting up positive divergence on the daily charts yet, but I'm wondering about that. CL, we had a decent little rally. We've come down. We've made lower lows. We do have a potential level top here. I'm really not thinking that's going to make target. The target would basically be pre-war levels. And I think that's rather unlikely. It's going to take a while for this supply shock to work out, even if the straightforward news opens tomorrow, which is probably at the moment, looking at it, not going to. Looking at HO, nice looking double top here too, which I'm keeping an eye on. I don't think it's going to play out, but it's worth being aware. We've got a double top that's actually broken down on RBOB, which is gasoline, and we've seen a 20% decline from the high. No current positive divergence. NG, we're seeing a little bit of a rally here. We've got kind of a small double bottom here, which I am wondering about. We will see, but we've not failed the inverted head shoulders that broke up with the target in the 3.46 area, but it's not making any progress either, and it wouldn't take an awful lot for it to fail. I think this is probably going to head back to the lows. Looking at GC, I was talking about a little bear flag forming here. That's delivered target and retested the low. I'm still wondering about this double top target. Breaking down with a target in the 43.30 to 43.60 area, and I'm wondering about that making target. SI, I was looking at a little bear flag here too, and that's almost back into the retest of low. Palladium, I was wondering about the bear flag, but it still looks like that's forming. Platinum, I was talking about a little bear flag here too. Not sure. Yeah, that's broken down slightly, so I'm expecting to see a retest of the low there too. All right, looking at HG. HG, this week 6-minute sell signal, reach the possible near miss target. As soon as I'll sign that off as finished, if we either reach the full target or get back to the 70 level. But at the moment, that's where we are. We've got, this is a possible bear flag, which is breaking down. All right, looking at the other commodities, we've got KC. Still got a potential level bottom here. Still looks like a short-term bear flag, setting up a retest of this low. On SB, we've been making good. We've broken down from the triangle, and I think this may be expanding into an alternate flag, or we may just have broken down. So looking at CC, we've been seeing a strong rally here. That hasn't failed the head and shoulders. That fail would be at about the 44.90 area. We shall see how that goes, but I'm not seeing anything compelling saying that isn't going to make the head and shoulder target at 3,500, but obviously this is a slightly worrying move upwards, and the head and shoulders could be failing. Looking at CT, we are still extending lower. This still looks like a bull flag. On lumber, I'm still leaning towards this resuming the downside as and when we put in some kind of a high on equities. On wheat, we are pulling back strongly, corn pulling back strongly, soy pulling back strongly. I think for urea, fertilizer reasons, I'm still expecting these to all go up quite a lot. ZL still looks like a bull flag, setting up a retest of this high. Live cattle, nice looking double top or possible head and shoulders forming here, which I'm watching. This could see but if we see a sustained breakdown below this neckline, that's going to look pretty bearish. On HE is still continuing to the downside. We've still got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, and it's still not delivering anything. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. Island tops are very visually arresting and not particularly reliable. So that is, I like them just because they're easy to see and they're quite dramatic looking. But actually, in terms of how significant they are, it's not particularly. So, all right, great. In that case, I think it's a wrap. Everyone take care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. All right, cheers.